welcome to the next session of Strength of Materials. This is the second lecture on shear force and bending moment diagram. In this lecture, we will first discuss about what is shear force, what is its sign convention. So let's get started. This is a beam AB shown in the figure. VA and VB are the two reactions at A and B respectively. At point C, which is at a distance A from end A, there is a load W which is acting on it. The force W and the reactions VA and VB are the shear forces which act on the body. Now these are called shear forces because you can see it is causing a shearing kind of effect on the beam. Like if you observe W and if you observe VA, this is going upward and this is going in the downward direction. So this is actually causing a shearing effect on the beam. Hence these forces or reactions are called as shear forces. Next we will see what is the sign convention for this shear force. Now when I stand at a particular point and if I look to the left and I see a particular direction of the shear force, for example if I am standing at C and I look to the left, this is going to be my left, this side will be my right, and I am standing at a particular point. So when I look to the left and I look at this reaction VA, suppose if a force goes upwards, then it is said to be positive shear force. So I'll draw the convention. This is my section that I am drawing. To the section's left, if I see any force going upward, I will call it as positive shear force, which means that to the left of the section, if I see a force going downward, I will say it is negative shear force. Now, from the entire sign convention that I am going to draw, only this much portion is what I need to remember and recollect while solving numerical, but still we will complete the rest of it. Now, suppose if I am standing at a section and I look to the right and I see a force going upward, then I would say that it is negative shear force, which means if I see to the right and I see a force going downwards, I will call it as positive shear force. Now, where does this question arise from standing at a point and looking to the left or looking to the right? Now, if you look at the beam, I will either solve the beam from left to right or from right to left. So these are two ways of solving, which means I will first start with A. I'll calculate the shear forces at this point. Then I move to point C and finally I move to point D. This is my left to right motion. Suppose if I start from B, I move to C and then I go to A, this will be called as right to left convention. I am using left to right, hence I am going to see only this portion of the sign convention, which means to the left of section I will always see, which means I'll stand at A, I'll see to the left. When I go to this point C, I will see the left. When I go to the point B, I'll see the left. If I have to use the convention here on the right side, then it is like standing here looking to the right, moving to point C looking to the right, and moving to the point A and looking to the right. So these are the two different ways of solving actually, left to right or right to left. So I would say that I am using only this much portion of the sign convention. Now if I know that anything which goes upward to the left of section is positive, which means the force going downwards is bound to be negative. So this is my simple sign convention for shear force. Now when I say that it is sign convention, I simply mean that it is my way of solving. For example, if I have x and y axis, we generally say that this axis or the axis which goes towards the right is my positive, this is the origin, and this side is going to be the negative x direction. Similarly, anything which goes above is positive and anything that goes down is going to be negative y axis. Now this is a pure assumption that anything to the right is positive. I can take it as negative and I can say that any force moving to the left is going to be positive. So this is actually a sign convention, which means to each his own. So here if I want, I can say that the force to the left of section going upward is negative. In that case, I have to say that the force going downward is positive. So what you see is I have just drawn the same convention here and I have just changed it to positive to negative, negative to positive. So this is my convention. I can use it the way I want. Now I will be using this side. I am not using this because this is a very standard way of solving. So this is my sign convention for shear force. Next we will go to the term bending moment. You can see there is a beam AB, one side is fixed, at point C there is a load W. This W is at a distance of A from the end A. So the first thing that I am going to do is draw the FBD. I will draw the beam A to B. Since this end is fixed, I will have one reaction in vertical direction, one reaction horizontally, and one moment MA. Now, if you observe carefully, HA will be 0 because there is no other horizontal force on the body. VA will obviously have a value and MA will also have some value. So this is the FBD of the load diagram that is given to me. Now since there is a moment here, we will talk about the sign convention. To the left of section, like shear force, to the left of section, if I am going to observe a clockwise moment, I will say it is positive bending moment. So I will say clockwise is positive bending moment, which means if I am standing at a particular section and I look to the left and I see a moment which is going anti-clockwise, obviously it is negative bending moment. Again I'll have to write for the right to left as well, because every time you just can't write left to right, because there are certain problems wherein you will have to walk from right to left also. We will discuss that. When I have to solve for right to left, at that time I would say that anti-clockwise is positive bending moment and here clockwise will be negative bending moment. Likewise, I can also say that this sign convention is for negative bending moment and this is for positive bending moment. So I can either call this as positive and this as negative, or I can say this sign convention is negative and this sign convention is for positive. It completely depends on the person who is solving the numerical. Now based on sign convention that we just saw, I will tell you two terms of bending moment. The first one is called as sagging bending moment and the second one is called as hogging bending moment. Now this is my beam AB. Suppose if I apply the forces like this and the beam bends in this U shape, then it will be called as sagging bending moment. It is something like this. This is my paper. It is straight. This is my beam. If I apply the forces like this or I apply the moment in this format, this will be my sagging. This is my beam. In case I turn it in this direction, I will call it as hogging. So this is the two types of bending moment here. I will just show it pictorially. So if I have the moments like this, turning the body upwards, so the beam will bend in this format. This will be called as sagging. The moment is like this. This is called as sagging bending moment. This type of bending moment is generally considered positive. Again, it's a sign convention. If you want, you can take it as negative as well. And if you say this is negative, then the other one should be positive. So the other one is inverted U, which means the forces are not this way, it is upside down. So I'll have the beam like this. So if I have forces like this is end A, this is end B, this will be called as hogging bending moment. If I take sagging as positive, I'll take hogging as negative. And if I take sagging as negative, I'll say hogging is positive. So again, generally this is positive. Next we will talk about a very important concept, that is the nature of the shear force and the bending moment diagram that we expect for the beams. It is based on the nature of loading on the beam. So suppose if there is no load between 2 points on the beam, for the shear force variation, the line is going to be of constant type. When I say constant, the line is like this. Here we say generally y is equal to 0. and for this we say generally x is equal to 0. So this line is actually a 0 degree line because I am saying x is equal to 0, y is equal to 0. So obviously this is a 0 degree line. Next is about the bending moment for such kind of a loading. The bending moment diagram is generally going to be linear. When I say linear, it is like this, increasing or decreasing type. This is a first degree line. We have equations like y is equal to mx plus c. This is a linear equation. When I have a UDL, the shear force variation is actually found to be linear. Linear again means 1 degree, and the bending moment variation is of parabolic type. Parabolic is 2 degree curve. It's a curve like this. For UVL, that is uniformly varying load, the shear force variation is of parabolic type. Parabolic is 2 degree curve, and bending moment variation is a cubic curve. Cubic is 3rd degree curve. The curve is going to be more flatter as compared to the parabolic curves, but it is a curve like parabolic itself. The next thing that we are going to discuss in this lecture is a derivation. This derivation shows a relation between the rate of loading. The rate of loading is also called as intensity of loading, which means how much load is applied on the beam, and the shear force and bending moment on that beam. So we will find a relation between these. So let's start. This is my beam AB. The length is L. There are two reactions VA and VB at the two ends. The beam is subjected to a UDL through and through. The value is W per unit length. Now the first thing that I am going to do here is I am going to chalk out a small portion of this beam. Now if you recollect the derivations in the previous chapter as well, we are going to use a simple linearity principle that I am going to divide this beam into small sections. I will take any small section and study for it, and then whatever is applicable to the small section is applicable over the entire beam. So let me take out a small portion of beam from here. Say this is LL and this section is NN. This is an infinitesimally small section and the length of this section is dx. So now I am going to take out this portion dx and I am going to draw over here. So this is my first figure. I'll be drawing the next figure over here, that is of this small portion. So let me draw the small portion. Now you have to understand that I am drawing larger than life diagrams, hence they look so big when I recreate them. So this distance is dx. There is UDL in this portion of W per unit length. The section is LL and NN. So I'll call this as figure B. This is section of beam AB of length dx. So I've just taken out a small portion and drawn it. Now I'm going to make the FBD of this diagram. So when I draw an FBD of this, let me draw a straight line first, because when you draw an FBD for this beam, we do not draw a thick line like this, we draw a straight line. Next I'll draw the section LL and NN. Now I will have to resolve this UDL and place it at a particular point. In the previous session I have already discussed about the placement, so I'll directly go around with it. W into dx will be W dx and UDL is placed at half the distance. So this will be dx by 2 and this is also dx by 2. Now if you understand, this body has a reaction at the two ends, but obviously there will be other forces over here which will cause a shearing kind of effect. So let me consider a force at this point L. So let me mark the forces now. Say at this portion there is a force F in the downward direction. So if there is a force F here, obviously there has to be another force which is exerted which will cause a shearing kind of effect. If I have marked F over here, I cannot say the same intensity is also exerted at the point NN, Now this distance being very small, the change over this two sections of force or moment will always be very small. So if this is F, I will say this is F plus dF. This indicates a small change. So this is just a small change of force from one section to another. Now I also have to mark a moment. So here let's say the moment is M. Now this is causing a sagging effect, if you understand these reactions. So obviously I'm drawing a sagging effect here. So if the moment is M over here, I cannot write M. I'll say it is M plus dm, which is a small change in moment between the two sections. So here I can write down, this is figure C. This is FBD of the section, this section. Now, when I have drawn the FBD, I can start with using a very simple D'Alembert's principle, that is summation of force in the y direction is 0. So when I say summation of force in y direction is 0 and I say upward force is positive, if you look carefully, F is going downwards, so I'll write minus F. W dx also going downwards, so I'll write minus W dx. And F plus df going upwards, so I'll write down plus F plus df is equal to 0. This F and F gets cancelled, so I get therefore df is equal to W dx. Therefore, I can write down this W is equal to df by dx. W is going to indicate the intensity of loading or the rate of loading, and F is a shear force. So we can say that the rate of loading is equal to the rate of change of shear force over the body. This is the meaning of this equation. Now let's take up another equation of D'Alembert's principle. Summation of moment about any section is equal to 0. Let me take about section NN is equal to 0. Let me say clockwise is positive. We will start with moment M turning towards NN section in the clockwise way. So I'll write down plus M as a first term. F is going anti-clockwise towards NN. So I can write down minus F into dx. W dx is also going anti-clockwise, so I'll write down minus W dx, and the distance is dx by 2. Here F plus df need not be considered, but M plus dm has to be considered. This is going anti-clockwise, so I'll write down minus M minus dm is equal to 0. Here M and minus M will get cancelled out. Then I'll get minus F dx minus W dx square by 2, and I'll have minus dm is equal to 0. If you understand, dx is actually a very small value. If dx is small, dx square will become further small or further smaller. For example, 0.1 is already a small number. When I take 0.1 square, this becomes 0.01, which means this number is smaller than the number which I had originally taken for squaring. So if I take a square over here, this actually becomes small, and hence this term can be neglected. So what remains is minus F dx minus dm is equal to 0. Therefore, I can say minus F dx is equal to dm, or I can say F is equal to minus dm by dx. So this is the second equation or the second relation that I obtained. F is a shear force, M is the bending moment. So I can say that the shear force on the beam is equal to the negative rate of change of bending moment over the body. Now this means that if I have shear force in a particular direction, my bending moment curve will be in a different direction altogether. So this we will see as we solve the numericals from the next session onwards. So with this I end the session. I hope you have understood the lecture. If you have any doubts or you want me to solve any numerical or any derivation, or you want me to explain any concept, please write to me in the comment section. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe to my channel. Hit the bell icon for latest updates of my videos. I'll see you in the next session. Thank you.